Hey guys, Ryan here. I've been wearing the new Ultrahuman Ring AIR for a couple months, and in this video I'm going to give you a breakdown of its features and some tips and tricks, including how to save money when buying this smart ring. So what is this ring anyway, and what does it do? It's a safe smart ring that you can wear all day long, including at night, to track your sleep and other vital metrics that I'm going to talk about. When I first reviewed this ring, it only came in 2 colors, but now there are 4 colors available, and unlike some other brands that have different pricings for different colors, they're all priced the same. And by the way, before we get into the details, I do recommend you watch my other video first, then watch this one. One of the things I'm very excited about is how active their development team is. I mean, since I first wore this ring, I've gotten firmware updates and several app updates with new features. This is very encouraging because it means the money we pay is getting invested back into improving the product itself. In fact, as I was preparing for this video, there was another update today, both for the app and the ring itself. And the firmware updates are also done fairly quickly. So always make sure you have the latest version of the app and the ring's firmware. To check for firmware updates manually in the app, on the first tap, just tap the ring battery at the bottom and then check for updates. As a shortcut, you can do the same thing by just tapping the ring icon at the top right corner. Also, that outer ring signifies the battery percentage, so you don't even need to scroll down to see that. This ring has a feature called stimulant permissible window that shows you when you can consume stimulants like caffeinated beverages without affecting your sleep much. This feature is obviously only available for the current day. As time passes by, the number of available stimulants become less and less. And even after the stimulant window is closed, you can still come back and check out what other beverages are available that consuming them would actually help with your sleep quality. And by the way, the timings of the stimulant window are not generalized, but they're actually personalized, so they're different for everyone. In fact, when the stimulant window opens or is about to close, you get notifications about it. This has helped me a lot with my sleep, and I highly recommend you to first make sure your notification for this app is enabled, and then do as it says to realize its benefits. In fact, it sends you other notifications too. For example, it reminds you to take a moment and stretch to prevent postural problems, etc. This next tip that I have is something that I thought of recently. Since the ring is safe to wear 24 hours a day and it's water resistant, which means you can even wear it while showering or swimming, it means you probably only take it off while charging it every few days. So in order to prevent any irritation or dryness after long-term use, once a day apply a tiny amount of basic cream or moisturizer onto your finger where the ring sits or your entire hand. A great feature of the Ultrahuman app is that you can even track all your macros. So near the bottom of the first tab, you can see total macros. Then tap the icon in front of it and just search for your food and add it. It's as simple as that. And while you're adding them, you can also add the timing of the meal you've had to make the timeline of events even more detailed and accurate. And speaking of timeline, the app logs these important notifications for you to review later. And if you tap this plus icon, you can manually add different events. That event could be a simple weigh-in, a nap, a meal you had, or an activity. You might wonder, what's the difference between the activity event and workout? Well, the workout mode is a recent feature which is still in beta at the time of making this video, but basically you can track your activity live, whereas if you choose activity, then that's just logging an activity that you've done before. Although my recommendation to you is not to wear the ring during weightlifting, both for safety reasons and to increase the lifespan of the ring, even though it's resistant to everyday wear and tear. So the Ultrahuman app provides a great amount of useful insights that are especially easy to interpret with the help of 3 important indices: the movement index, sleep index, and recovery index. Basically, the higher these numbers, the better you're doing. But almost none of these numbers that the app reports mean anything on their own, unless you take into account their relative past. So always compare these numbers with previous days and weeks. So for example, let's say you want to know how you're doing sleep-wise. You tap the sleep index and you can see a daily chart of the index. But for example, I'd like to deep dive and check my actual sleep duration and its efficiency long-term, not just on a daily basis. So all I need to do is tap total sleep and select weekly or monthly. Then I can see that I've been indeed improving my total sleep time long-term, which is awesome. But if I wanted to know the efficiency of my sleep, which measures how much my body is actually resting and repairing itself during sleep, I'd go back and tap efficiency instead, and again select weekly or monthly. And I can see that my sleep efficiency has also been trending higher over the last month, which means I'm doing something right thanks to this ring. In fact, this ring can really give you the insights to improve the quality of your life and health in general, not just sleep. If you go to the recovery score, you can see a bunch of really useful information. Let me break it down for you. At the top, there's a daily chart of your recovery score, which is your overall well-being score. Underneath that, it says, rate your perceived recovery for today. This is a really important feature because it lets you rate how you actually feel compared to the response received by the ring's sensors, and the more you do this, the better the app learns about you and your recovery score. Just remember that you can add your input several times during the day, not just one time. And in fact, there is a shortcut for this on the first tab, so you don't even need to go to the recovery score page to do that. And underneath that, you can see what things have contributed to your current recovery score. For example, you can see your HRV form and whether it's above the average range or not. And if you scroll a bit down, you can see your 7-day HRV baseline and zone and the HRV of each one of those 7 days. And typically if it's above that zone, you're probably doing really great. And so far, if this video is useful, give it a thumbs up. Same thing with the skin temperature. If you see large deviations from the baseline, that could be an indication of inflammation or illness. But in the recovery score page, it only shows the deviations from the baseline. If you'd like to see your actual skin temperature, go back, scroll down and find skin temperature and tap it. Then you can see your 7-day baseline temperature, and this is a useful number because you can see what your temperature was during sleep and how you're doing compared to that baseline. So a really great feature for early disease detection. The skin temperature could also be useful for period detection, but currently this feature doesn't exist, so hopefully they'll add it in the future. So clearly the analytics are very insightful and easy to interpret, but it doesn't stop here. One other great feature here is the weekly reports. In fact, not only are you going to get these reports in the app itself, but also right into your inbox. And clearly these weekly reports were made very thoughtfully for a couple of reasons. First, you can always compare the past week with 2 weeks before that. So that's 3 weeks of data. Second, you can see what's improved and what you need to improve, making it really easy to interpret. And you'll have all this information for the sleep, recovery, and movement index. For example, I can see that I've significantly improved my sleep index, but I definitely need to work on my movement index. And here are a couple tips on how to increase the lifespan of your ring. First of all, never use a fast charger and make sure the output is less than 2 watts. For example, you could plug the charging cable directly into your computer. Then remember to keep the charge between 30 and 100%. But occasionally, for example, a couple times a year, let the battery completely drain and then charge to 100%. There are a few other features in the app that I don't want you to miss. The first one is called Zones, which is a new feature that allows you to share your scores with others. So you create a zone, you invite members, and then you'd have some sort of a leaderboard. Second, remember that with the Ultrahuman app, you can connect to other apps as well. So if you're using any of those apps, give it a try. And the last one is a great library of contents on the app that you definitely need to check out. And there's so much content, from yoga to videos from running coaches to meditation to sleep music and stories. And you know what's crazy? You don't need to pay a penny to use the library of content or the weekly reports or any other insights. All provided to you for free. So do I recommend this smart ring? Absolutely yes. I think it's a great investment in yourself, and they've been kind enough to provide our viewers with a limited time 10% discount. All you need to do to get this discount is click the link in the description and use the discount code. If you have any questions, let me know, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.